Hello and welcome to OZChris vs. Marvel Comics for week 2 of July, here with reviews on The Amazing Spider-Man number 25, Black Cat number 2, Symbiote Spider-Man number 4, and Venom number 16. So starting off with the big one, and alphabetically as usual, The Amazing Spider-Man number 25. 60 pages of Spider-Mania, a whopping $7.99, a $7.99 comic, oh boy. Oof. So written by Nick Spencer, art by Ryan Otley, Humberto Ramos, Patrick Gleason, and Kev Walker, coloring by Nathan Fairbairn, Edgar Delgado, Dave Stewart, and Laura Martin. The cover itself by Ryan Otley and Nathan Fairbairn. So I'm mainly going to be talking about the opening night story. There are some several small short stories towards the end of the comic. I'm not going to deal with them because they're not really the main crux of this issue. So, starting off at the Ravencroft Institute, where Mysterio was killed by Kindred, the centipede demon villain that knows a lot about Peter Parker and his family and his friends. But it's revealed that Mysterio didn't die. Mysterio is actually still alive. He was his therapist, Ludwig Reinhardt, was actually Mysterio in disguise. And Kindred is not too happy about the fact that, he's impressed that Mysterio was able to trick someone into pretending that they were Mysterio, make them believe they were Mysterio. He's not happy that he said, you told him my name, you told him who I am, but he still has plans for Mysterio. Then the remainder of the story of opening night is split between two parts. You have Peter looking for Killer Croc, for Kurt Connors, and the other part is Mary Jane and Carly Cooper. They're attending a opening for a show, a Fantastic Four musical, I think it is, featuring one of Mary Jane's old modeling and acting partners, Melanie Daniels. And so you have Peter looking for the lizard, and you have MJ reminiscing about her past as an actor, and the show itself is interrupted by Francine Fryer, the new Electro, and who takes Melanie Daniels hostage. So Mary Jane comes up with a genius plan to be able to save Melanie and defeat Electro. And while this is going on, Peter has finally tracked down the lizard. Kurt is worried about him losing control as the lizard, as he no longer has those safeguards, those inhibitors to protect not only himself but his family as well. They're all gone, but Peter is able to convince him. MJ is able to save the day, and we have a few kind of lead ups to what the next year of Spencer's ASM is going to be. So, story, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this. This was really, really good. They're still building up to Kindred, whoever he is. He's starting to be much, much more involved with the plot now. He's got Mysterio doing something for him, something that involves Mary Jane. We've got a kind of a resolution with the whole the lizard part, and him coming to terms with him being the lizard fully, and Peter Parker, Spider-Man, not giving up on him, trying to teach him the importance of family. Pretty much, it's something that Peter also realizes at the end as well. The art, I'm going to do the art as a collective instead of separately. Art, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. The art was really good. I really like the stuff of Otley. Otley's art here was really good. Ramos was good, okay to good. There are some parts, it's good, but then there are some parts where it's just it's Ramos. It's like here, it's just oh, what's that? That pretty sure that's not how a body works, but whatever. The cover itself, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 as well. Good art, good coloring, and really has something to do with the entire contents of the book, about Kindred, about Electro, about Mysterio, about Spider-Man, and about MJ. So Did this need to be $7.99? No, not really. This honestly could have just been a $5.99, despite the fact that I don't like really high-priced comics. This honestly could have just been $5.99. The stories at the end, you could have just cut out. There's one about something's going to happen with Spider-Man 2099. Something with a little short story with J. Jonah Jameson and a couple other stuff as well, but they weren't particularly apart from maybe the Spider-Man 2099 stuff. They weren't particularly essential to the plot, so this could have just been a $5.99 comic, but this was a good comic regardless. So on to Black Cat number 2, written by Jed MacKay, art by Travel Foreman, and cover art by J. Scott Campbell and Sabine Rich. So continuing on there, Black Cat is reunited with the Fox, Black Fox, the one who taught her, and he gives them a proposition for a upcoming heist. And in between the heists, we learn a little bit more about Felicia's backstory and how she met Black Fox. His name's not Walter. No, her dad's the one called Walter. Yeah, how she met Black Fox, who knew her father, and the heist in question needs a particular kind of a thief called a Merlin, who used to be someone called Xander the Merciless that's fought Doctor Strange before and is now depowered. And given his ties to Doctor Strange, he's kind of helpful for this heist because they are breaking into Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum. And then there's a third story going on with Sonny, the guard from the first issue, being recruited by Odessa Drake to investigate, maybe possibly hunt down Black Cat as well. So that's the main part of this issue. I'll leave it there. Story, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. It was okay to good. There's an interesting story there, especially with Felicia's backstory. The heist at Doctor Strange's residence. Okay, sure, it's weird. I mean, but it's Black Cat, you know. There's who hasn't she tried to steal from? Those are interesting. This thing with Odessa Drake, waiting to see how that goes. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. This was below average. I thought the art in the first one wasn't good. This was much worse. At least with the first issue, there were parts where the art was actually decent. In this one, the art in this is there. I don't think there really was any decent parts. I did not like the art and the coloring in this. It's not that good. The cover itself by J. Scott Campbell and Sabine Rich, 4.5 out of 5. Although it really didn't particularly have anything to do with the contents of this issue. It's a good-looking cover, great-looking cover, great art, great coloring on that. So on to Symbiote Spider-Man number 4, written by Peter David, art by Greg Land, coloring by Frank Diamata, the cover by Land and Diamata. So after retrieving the sample of the suit that Black Cat has procured for him, Mysterio goes to get it tested, but it breaks out and latches onto his suit. And at the same time, the symbiote suit controlling Peter, attacks Mysterio, trying to reclaim the piece that was taken from it, but the piece itself doesn't want to be reconnected to the rest of the suit. It's got its own, it's got a mind of its own, and so Symbiote Spider-Man, I'll just say that Symbiote Spider-Man is confronted by some of Kingpin's guards, but escapes as soon as Kingpin arrives. It's not really there to fight Kingpin. And Kingpin begins to torture Mysterio, trying to find out what was going on, why he's there. And as this is happening, the symbiote piece that was left over latches onto Mysterio. And let's just say we'll call him his symbiote Mysterio. Miss Symbiote? I don't know. Symbiote Mysterio. They've combined together, and with this Mysterio is much more stronger. He feels it and he wants to be much more than that. So he wants to claim the rest of the suit from Spider-Man. So we'll leave it there. Story 4 out of 5. I found this really interesting, really good. It is really trying to. This really honestly is just to kind of tie into its Absolute Carnage tie-in that's coming out in I think like September. There's one for Symbiote Spider-Man, and so I'm guessing Mysterio is somehow going to be involved with this with that event just as a tie-in. But overall, I think this is a really good issue. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Good art, good coloring. Not a lot of didn't particularly notice any particular traced faces, which is common with Land, but the art and the coloring was really, really good. The cover itself, 4 out of 5, really good. Had something to do with the contents of this issue. Good art, good coloring on that. And on to Venom number 16, written by, I think I have to go all the way to the back for this one, yep. Written by Donny Cates, art by Juan Gedeon, coloring by Jesus Albertov, the cover by Joshua Cassara and Rain Burrito. So, Eddie has to take a job since his son, Dylan, is feeling under the weather and he needs money for like just food or medication or whatever. But now after, given everything that's gone on with him and the Venom symbiote suit, with the Venom symbiote and War of the Realms and all of that, he's done. Eddie is just, he feels like he's now done with Venom and he wants to move on. The problem is he now has like a Venom voice in his head that just wants to be like the old days, just rage, killing people and all that. And Eddie's trying to fight off that part of himself, as shown throughout this issue. There would just be moments where, like, in his head, he'll have a moment where he thinks he's Venom and it's talking like him, but he tries to, nope, I'm not that. Stop that. That isn't us. That isn't me anymore. But he's given a job to investigate some child kidnappings, and this connects to what will be Absolute Carnage. The people being the people that are kidnapping the children are all infected by Carnage, and they give him the message through through one of their hosts, the Sin Eater, the one who pretty much helped ruin Eddie's life, telling him what's going to happen. You know, Carnage is after all the symbiote users, etc., etc. Just the entire summary of what Absolute Carnage is. And with that, Eddie goes all out in his Venom persona, and we'll leave it there. So story, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I thought this was really, really good. A good setup to Absolute Carnage, and a good kind of aftermath to like everything before Absolute Carnage. Venom, Eddie has gone through so much recently in this Venom run, and he's now that he has something to live for, a son, a child, he wants to move on, but there is still that part of him which is represented by Venom that doesn't want to give that up. It just wants to be the monster. And given some moments, he has to accept that he has to be the monster in that situation. But now with Absolute Carnage, there's more of like there's more at stake, and he'll have to get involved with that. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. It was okay to good. The first 2 pages where it's just recounting everything up to now, I think is probably my favorite of the art and the coloring, but everything else was okay to good. It wasn't bad. The cover, I'm going to give a 4.5 out of 5. This was a really good, a great cover. I love the art. I love the coloring on this. It's an amazing looking cover. The problem is it has nothing to do with the contents of this issue. It has nothing to do with this story, which is a shame. Because Rhino does not appear at all in this comic, so I don't know why he's on the cover. But anyway, that's it for those 4. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.